designed as outdoor, forward-thinking adventure travel bags. This is Alpine Alchemy. Created with premium X-Pack exterior and recycled Cordura Recore material. Everything's got YKK, water-sealed zips, but it's the designs that make these really interesting to me. I've been using them for a while. They are also modular. They like fit together like so. I'll show you how that works. Now, I wanna get into the backpack first. But first, this episode is brought to you by Nomadix. Nomadix make these incredible travel and everyday towels like this ultralight towel, which is a full-size towel. This is my towel that I have used for years, that I bought separately before these guys even got in touch with me. And it folds up into almost nothing. So you could fit it at the bottom of your bag. You can roll it up and just slide it into something. I keep this in my little pool bag that I have for my daughter and I. When we go down to the pool, I always have a towel there because I've always forgotten to bring one. Their original towel is a little bit thicker. Their ultralight towel is just thinner in some way. And both of these actually dry you off when you use them. Nothing like those crappy towels where it's just moving water around your skin. These are incredibly absorbent. They also don't let sand stick to them if you take them to the beach. And they have really killer designs like this one, which is the entire earth with all sorts of hikes and destinations and places to visit. It's sort of like a bucket list towel. I like the American National Park System one, and I love their graphic designs. Here's another ultralight towel, which just has this really nice soft velour feel, even after being washed like 40 or 50 times and used under so much duress with myself and my daughter in like highly chlorinated, toxic public pools. Nomadix makes some of my favorite travel towels in the entire world. It's the kind of thing, even these like tiny little guys, that you just throw into a bag and keep with you. They make little bandanas as well. Use my link below. It lets them know where you came from, okay? Shout out to Nomadix for supporting this channel. Nick, the guy I've been talking to at this brand, he, for the past several years, has been set up on the PCT in Oregon, fixing up people's bags and gear while they're hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. This harkens back to the early days of this channel where there were these brands getting started from enthusiastic designers and starting their stuff on Kickstarter. This backpack has a ton of features, okay? So just like strap in. We got a presentation. First of all, it's expandable from 28 liters to 36 liters, and it uses this super interesting little Fidlock magnetic nipple. Like, how does that work? See this under here? It's got a little clippy clappy. It's got a little nipple clip, and it goes right on there. What I've noticed is that once you get this set up to where you like want it to be, you're always just kind of throwing it down and finding it. Always. Now, a couple notes. This is a prototype, all right? In the finished production, this is actually gonna be anchored down, so it's not gonna pull up on the bottom like it currently does sometimes. This has nothing in it right now. It has a very soft and pliable form, okay? That expandability and whatever you put into it, however tightly you've cinched it down with these side straps, right? That's gonna determine the structure of this bag much more so than the material itself. This will contract and expand to whatever you're putting into it. And the main volume is accessed either through the roll top or on both sides. You have zippers that go both from the bottom and the top, okay? So you can open this thing all the way up clamshell on both sides and get full access to everything you're doing in here. You see these little molly strips in here? This is for attaching this guy, which is a little camera cube that they've custom designed that comes apart and you can put it together in different shapes to fit into each of the bags I'll show you. Both the sling, the waist sling, the hip sling, and this backpack itself. I like this internal material with its yellow color. Makes it easier to see what's going on inside. Nice ripstop nylon. Feels good. One little note while we're in here, you can see this about an inch gap that we have here. Behind this is the laptop compartment. So this can expand or contract your laptop compartment. I'll show you that in a second. I really like that I can get access to whatever's in my main compartment through the outside of the bag, just by no matter what side I'm coming out of, right? Here, that is a big deal because being able to get in and load things from the top is all good and great and all that stuff, but sometimes I need to get a little quicker access to stuff. they crushed that. This back panel is great. I have loved this. There's like kind of, it's not like it's anything you haven't seen before. Got a little piece of like plasticky rigid foam behind here to keep you a little rigid. Nice air mesh on all of this stuff. But putting these things on just has felt so good. I did one trip with this, loaded this bag out as my sort of only carry-on under the seat in front of me, and these just felt so good. I don't know if it's my age or what, but I have become a sucker for these shoulder pockets. You know, things that I can just slide. I'm a sucker for it. I don't want my phone's radiation coming right into my heart, but sometimes it's just nice to have that stuff right there. You can also put like snack bars or something. Makes it kind of like a interesting, funky look. I mean, this is a big old pocket, right? But I like it. And the hip straps, I don't know if these are gonna come with the bag or if they're a separate accessory, but I really like these. These, I locked in with this stuff. Boom, big old heavy water bottle, lots of stuff in the bag, compression on the expansion, pulled all the way tight. And I just felt it's a radical harness system. While I've got you here, notice this little hydration tube, right, which can come out on either of these straps and click in, and we've got a sternum strap with a little whistle. Safety first. These hip straps, by the way, are removable, so if you don't want them, you can just take them off. Now, on the top here, we've got a little brain pocket. This whole flap, okay? Great size, and inside you do have a little divider. I don't know if you can see this. This is a very soft liner inside of here, so it just feels nice every time you put your hand in there. I would recommend going with less bulky items here because this is going to be involved in every time you're lifting and opening, every time you've got this, you know, up so that you're looking down into your stuff like this. Whatever's in there is now flopping down to the bottom of that pocket. But they made this divider nice and tall, so oftentimes, especially with big items, they'll stay in the side that you need it to. You've got one water bottle pocket on this side, which is nice and big. It has this gusseting with elastic here. One of the things that's gonna be different is this seam is not gonna be here. This is just gonna be one panel coming down. This is, again, just a prototype. And on this side, you've got a larger pocket to hold more of your everyday goods sort of stuff. Again, that seam is not gonna be there. This may be subtly different in the real thing. Having this side pocket is nice. I think what I realized with this bag is I wanted two spots externally accessible to have my EDC sort of items that I could grab and go. Obviously, I've got access to the main compartment, and I kept my tech pocket actually down here at the bottom, my little pouch with everything I need, so that I could just quickly grab that out while I was in transit and plug in my laptop or whatever I was doing. But this side access and that brain are all I need, plus the water bottle. I live out of my water bottle. By the way, this big old 34-ounce bobber fit perfectly. I will link to this below. It's a decent little number. I like a water bottle. It has the right size mouth, but it makes it kind of tough to clean. I am all ears if you have water bottle recommendations. I saw a lot for the Yeti with the chugger cap. I saw a lot for Owala, which I've used before. What's your water bottle of record that you love right now? Now, on the back of the bag right here, you'll see this water-sealed zip, right? Nice, big, rounded bullet shape. Love that. Really easy to get out of. This is my favorite pocket to get in and out of. Inside of here, you've got a laptop compartment, nice padding, pulled up off the bottom of the bag with a little bit of that rigid protection on this whole back panel. Nice, slick ripstop nylon in between here. They say it fits a 16-inch laptop. Actually, one thing I read said 17-inch. My 16-inch MacBook Pro fits in here with a solid inch or two above it, so you may be able to fit even bigger ones. And then you've got some meshy pockets right here. I typically would put my charger right in here by itself if I wasn't using like a bigger tech pouch. And then you've got darkness. This goes all the way down, and you could easily, this is that thing I was showing you before that makes this pocket get a little bit bigger in case you had a lot of, if you had like a big, if you were doing a lot of business, if you were doing so much business and you needed a lot, if you had a lot of, papers, business papers, man. That would fit all the way in here. Nice dimension inside of here. I don't know if you can see where our zipper is, but it's got some good dimension, and because of the way they designed that inner liner, you can take up more space for your laptop area, or you can take it up with the main capacity. I think that's pretty tasty. Final bits here. Here's that hydration bladder tube that comes out right here, and a way to hold your hydration bladder if that's what you're doing instead of a laptop. Wouldn't recommend doing that right next to your laptop. But wait, there's more. Look at this little thing. Look at this little butt flap that comes out. Comes out, clips up onto these little loops right here, and it extends. This gets longer or shorter. It also can be flipped around so it goes this way instead and clips on to these things here, so you can carry some stuff on the bottom of your bag or on the front of your bag, right? Nice little way to get like yoga mat or a helmet or something like that. Very interesting, and it's just thrown into here. You don't ever need to see it or know about it. It's never in the way, doesn't take up much space. And then when you need it, you can just, you know, you're at the fair and you want a huge stuffed animal for your daughter. Well, you could just strap Fluffy in there. Let's look at this Sling Pack, okay? This is very interesting. Look at this thing, like a big old teardrop. They made this for trail running, biking, all sorts of outdoors activities. It works great as a hydration bladder, but you're never gonna see this kind of, have you seen a strap like this before? This whole thing expands and contracts. You can size it up to your body using this webbing here. We've got that big fidlock again, okay? So I don't have to look like an idiot going like this. I can just do a quick little bam. Look at that. Oh, let me put this on. Bam, bam. There we are. That fidlock also moves circular like that, helping me get a better setup. And then I have a little clippy cloppy that goes down here if I wanted to get that around my waist and really secure it in. That's great for like running, biking. Big fat. Just so cozy. Just taking that weight, whatever you've got in here, putting it all across. Nice pocket right here where I can put my phone, maybe some tiny business papers. As I've used this, sometimes I bump this thing. Sometimes I bump this. Sometimes I'm just walking and I just bump it, right? So you wanna be like aware of that. On this back side, you can see we've got a bunch of air mesh, all right? Super cozy. And then we have a tablet pocket or a bladder pocket right here. Okay, which has a tube that can go, or like space for a tube that can come all the way through here. Well, this is great for you iPad folks. Need to hitting the trails, but you want to make some sketches, maybe answer some emails. Bring your iPad. Then on the front, you've got a bunch of different stuff. First of all, these straps, these come off, all right, using this kind of mechanism. You can apply it here or down at the bottom, right, if you don't want it to go over this flap. And under that flap is a nice little magnetic. You hear that? See that? Oh, that's nice. And then you've got a big pocket in here for your quick access stuff. Attaching these straps to different areas plays a role when we're doing the modularity. This sling fits on the front of the backpack, and then the hip sling fits on the bottom using things like this. Then you have a water-sealed zip that goes all the way around. Before I show you that, one more little pocket, just a little lip. Kind of nice little stash, and this has some rigid sort of padding in it, which just makes it feel kind of nice. You can just throw stuff right in there. Opening this up all the way, you have a little Velcro spot. Maybe you could throw your tablet in here and a couple meshies. Nice volume. This is that 10-liter volume. It's probably 2.5 inches right here, all the way around, and then it tapers off into here. Just an epic sling if you're looking for something super durable that has enough space to throw in an extra layer and some snacks, maybe a hydration bladder while you're out on the trail or whatever. Kind of got some bulk to it, but when you're carrying something meaningful, I don't know, it works pretty well. Okay, let's go for the hip sling now. Now this is another really, are you seeing how these people are designing something very, I don't know. It is, I haven't seen things like this. I haven't seen a lot of this. I've seen a lot of bags. I haven't seen a lot of stuff like this. For example, this is a fidlock clip, all right? That is just easy to cinch up, throw in. You push this little button, you get more space. And why do I need that? Because this entire thing has a roll top. all right? It's like mom's purse in here. I've used this recently on a camp trip with my daughter and as my like sort of everyday carry for a trip to Dallas. You just throw everything into here. It's like darkness, but I don't ever have to pull this out. I don't ever have to do that at all. Let's just leave that cinched up because I've got a zip right here. And this is how I've accessed all this stuff, my daily sort of items that I needed, keeping it clean, keeping it kosher. Just a big sack, right? There's one big meshy at the bottom here, okay? But that's not all. Another pocket that I used on this a lot is this little admin pocket. It zips all the way around, like so. And then you've got a bunch of little places, maybe SD cards or cords or something like that, little bits. But I like this one here. This is where I threw my keys. I just wanted them out of the way and I didn't want them flopping around, so I'm glad they had this little lip right here. Keeps it all kind of tidy. I was just accessing that when it was just on my body, right here into the main compartment or into that admin pocket right here, be able to grab out my keys to give it to the valet or something like that. I don't like valet. I'm a self-park guy. On the back, you have some compression straps that actually can clip like around the front of it as well. You're gonna see these things right here, which attach to standard bike handlebar attachments. I would just probably use my compression straps on the back here. And then your straps themselves can just be hidden away. And I got a lot of use out of this because I was kind of a little bit fancy dressed. So I didn't want to wear this as a waist pack or a sling. And I just carried it like so. Just dad's purse. And it's just got a good look. I like this strap. The harder you pull this, the more it's gonna put some strain on these zips and make it maybe a little bit goofy to get into. So I tend to keep that kind of loose. It's nice you've got that expansion if you need it, which is kind of interesting. I've only seen a roll top sling one other time, and it gives you a little bit of, I don't know, just extensibility. Like the fact that I can take one bag and be able to carry a lot of stuff if I needed to, or it compresses down and I don't have much going on. Now, like I said, this all fits modularly. First, we're gonna pull this little thing apart, and you see how these go together? I've seen these on one other bag before. Kind of interesting. You pull that apart, put the sling right on there, and then you see the sling has that little guy right there, and that goes right in. Then you take these compression straps off the side of the backpack, and they apply right here to the back of this sling. Looks like I could also put it right here if I wanted to really cinch it down on the front, other side. And now that sling has got its two anchor posts here as well as on the top. Then for the hip sling, you've got two other bits right here. Those just clip into there. And then on the back side, we take these compression straps right here and loop it around and lock it in. A very easy way to get a bunch of bags to where you're going, have a lot of volume. If you don't have anything in this sling, your carry-on capacity. This, with the sling and the hips pack, it goes out to like 55 liters total. And then when you get there, you have all sorts of little bags. The sling, the little hip sling also fits inside the bag as a compression cube that like actually compresses your stuff down. Very extensible. Okay, let me give you my take on this bag as I slowly remove some of these things. Super extensible and like obviously designed with some serious chops and heart. Like these people are enthusiasts, not just for bags, but also for what we use our gear for. These kinds of designs I just haven't seen. I just think they're really unique. This sling, for example, obviously there's some strappy dappy. There's some straps, and some of these, many of these are removable or pull tightable, so they're out of the way. You get to set it up how you want. This big cozy strap is unlike anything I've seen. If you're like sling oriented or if you're hiking oriented, this would be an excellent hiking bag. Switching it from one shoulder to the other, it's really wide, so it just distributes that weight well. This fanny pack bag is super interesting for obviously the extensibility of packing a bunch of stuff into it or breaking it down to not much. There's not much going on here. For my everyday use case, I tend to prefer something that is even more streamlined, just small. I don't tend to need very much, but that mom's purse vibe that I got when I was using this for all sorts of stuff when I was camping with my dyer was actually pretty great. I could just have this and I had everything I needed. Let me pull these hip straps out here. The fact that all of this is like customizable, however you want it to be, these hip straps are pretty great. I like having a pocket on my hip strap, but I just really like having the padding. They're using really interesting peripherals, like this guy has a clip on it for adjusting it. And again, this is a prototype. This is not what is necessarily going to be the finished product. I think this is probably 98% there. I just know that a couple things he called out, and even how he called those things out just speaks to how much work that they've put into this thing. So I think it's a very interesting design on this bag. I have never seen, this is apparently patent pending. I've never seen this kind of adjustability, this kind of clip used like this, and I think it's quite brilliant. I loved using this bag. It's just like one of those bags that you can commit to and have everything you need for a handful of years. Just your outdoor, your travel, your school or work or whatever it is. My laptop plus my hydration bladder plus my travel kit, all of it. And one really, I do like these straps a lot. And I find, maybe it's my age, but straps, they matter. Straps matter. And these straps just feel so like locked in. I didn't even show you the like load lifters, what you're used to. But I don't know, it just feels like a little rocket kit. Like I'm ready to go. I like this. It feels like the birth of an interesting company. Alpine Alchemy, which I think it's aptly named because I don't see this kind of design going on a lot of places. It's like the kind of bag you just want to load it up and go. Get out. Be doing something. I like gear that makes me feel like doing something. All right, let's see what we got for the Ramble. This is kind of interesting. What's the German word for the, hey, let's not look up the answer to this on Wikipedia feeling? I don't know what that means to you. But, you know, we have the ability to just look everything up and find out the answer to everything. I asked ChatGPT, why does Steely Dan sound the way that Steely Dan does? And it broke it down. It gave me a bunch of great reasons why. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I'm a lazy thinker. But I have so many friends who are very intelligent, and that's the first thing that they'll do is just look it right up and get the answer. They're just like, why are we thinking about this? Let's look up the answer. But I feel like there's got to be a Japanese or a German word for not looking that up. Whatever that space is between knowing something and wondering something, right? I think a lot of life is lived there. I think you should prioritize that. I wonder how much in life that really, really matters we can't know the answer to. I wonder if it's important to feel what Steely Dan feels like and not necessarily be able to chunk it up for like, well, there was jazz influence, they used studio musicians, etc. So if you know what the German or Japanese or Italian word is for not looking something up that may very well have an answer out there, yeah, let me know. And I get it, that there are some things that can be known. Obviously, this is what our culture is obsessed with, I think. We're obsessed with understanding and knowledge. Ever since Rene Descartes was like, I think, therefore I am. The Enlightenment was this movement to understand. No more propagated through the world by religious superstition. We can know. We can know it. And in our pursuit of knowing, we have sliced and diced everything until the fucking thing on the table is not alive anymore. And I find you might have to put a little energy in your life into the mystical, into the unknown, into the mystery. Not for everything, not for which brand of toilet paper to get. That obviously matters tremendously. I went to a park here in Texas. We camped out at a place called Krause Springs. They had the best toilet paper I've used in years at a park. You know, most of the really radical landscapes in Texas are actually privately owned, and then sometimes those families open them as parks, but they're not government parks. That's why the toilet paper is so nice. Some things are worth knowing, like which toilet paper is best. Maybe it's valuable to go like, why does Steely Dan sound the way that Steely Dan does? And in the world of AI, in the world of every answer at your fingertips, you can get so high on your own supply of knowing. Do Steely or Dan think that's why they sound the way that they do? The people who are making the music, why do they think it sounds that way? That's not what we have access to, typically, at our fingertips. And as a creator, as an artist, as a thinker, as a whatever, as just a 42-year-old man who like is trying to figure out how to create meaning in his life, I challenge you on the idea that what you know makes meaning in your life. What is unknown to you may be something to celebrate. What is unknowable may be something to also pursue. All I'm trying to say is that distance between wondering something and finding it out for sure, oftentimes the finding it out for sure can kind of kill it. And there's a lot of life that can happen in the wonder, in the wondering, right? Not all who wonder are lost. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Thanks for watching. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Bye.